It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 154. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, announcing the Fan Festival 2019 in Tokyo stage schedule, a new Polygon.com interview with Yoshi-P, a reminder about the Distant Worlds Minnesota meetup, and a reminder about our Show Your Bunny Boy contest. We'll take some shots with the Baldesion Arsenal, and we have fan mail. But first, let's shoot the shit. What has been going on this week? Hey, Ruby, what's been going on?
What's up, Yelta?
Hey.
Hey. Good week. Played quite a bit of Final Fantasy XIV. Not like anything stupendous. Didn't do anything like Savage or anything crazy. I think you did a lot more harder content than what I did. But I did some stuff, so it was good to get back into it. Continuated. I made a new word up. I continuated my Blue Mage episodic. I don't know. I'm done making up words. I got Glower. That's what I'm trying to say. I got Glower, and I did it all by myself.
Nice.
I went into Orem Vale one evening. I think I was really bored. I think it was late. I think I had the next day off of work, so I jumped on. The baby was sleeping, and I was like, let me just see if I can do Orem Vale. So I had tried this before. I think I mentioned it in the last episode. I went into Orem Vale, and I just tried to see if I could do it. And I knew I could, but I was like, fuck this, I'm out. So when I went back in this time, I was like, here's my strat. I know that Thousand Needles, mind you, I'm pretty shitty for Blue Mage, but I had Thousand Needles. And I've got most of the other kit, like the basic stuff. So it's like, I know Thousand Needles is going to do 1,000 each time, as long as I hit. And I know I can put on Mighty Guard, and it'll still hit for 1,000, but they won't hit me as much. And I've got White Wind, and there's a few other tricks up my sleeve. So let me try this. So, of course, because I didn't have a party, it was easy to get through the first room. Nobody was pulling all the ads.
No one was wandering about, grabbing
I went through
frogs.
2 sets of mobs. That was it. It was easy. And got to the first boss, and that was a pain in the ass because it doesn't spin, but it's like it does like 3 sets of the tentacle whips, and then it does two AoE, like it drops a circle on you, and then it does a conal, and it telegraphs the circles in the conal, but the vine whips it just does. And so I have to heal through the vine whips, but the rest of the stuff isn't so bad. But it's just tedious. It just takes forever. I think every 1,000 needles hit took 2%. So I had to do 50,000 needle hits, and it's a slow spell. So I could 1,000 needle and then swift cast 1,000 needle, but then it's 30 seconds for swift cast to come back up. So then it's like do the little dance, grab a fruit, heal up, stand in its hitbox, and do it again. So that took forever. And then I went through the next set of rooms, and that wasn't bad at all. I didn't die at all. And then I got to Coin Counter. Coin Counter was easier because Coin Counter, again, telegraphs his stuff. And as long as you stand between its legs and kind of go back and forth, it's pretty easy. The only time I got close to dying was when I got hit by Glower because it paralyzes you. So then running out of the swings, it makes it more difficult. And then if you get hit and you get slammed to the other side of the room, you're like gasping for air, trying to White Wind while you're paralyzed, praying it goes off. So you got to use some stuff like Bad Breath helps and some of those things. But I managed to do it. I just kind of crisscrossed between his legs. And he does a really easy pattern. He's either going to... I forget the 2 moves. One where he goes in the circle and one...
There's a swing and the swipe, right?
Swing and a swipe. So he mainly does swipe. He will do a swing, but if he does a Glower, he is going to... he's going to swing and then Glower every time. So if he's going to do swing, get out, and then prepare to strafe, and then get back into his hitbox. And most of the time he does swipes. And when he does a swipe, he charges up for it, and you know that you can get behind him and queue up another 1,000 needles. So I did the 1,000 needle thing again. It's just too slow to do anything else. I mean, to do the water or to... Well, I didn't have Glower yet, so I couldn't use Glower on him. So that was that. I think I picked up Loom as well at one point. I might have done that last week. And then I went through the rest of the storyline, which was great. Of course, it's very if you've done it, it's like very Native American and basically smallpox blankets is what it.
I just is not. Yeah, I'm like, this makes me mildly uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm like, oh great, American history, yay! That's what it feels like anyway. With Magitech, with Ceruleum. But got through all that, and then I have not yet attempted the what's it called? The circus? What's it
The
called?
Mass Carnival.
The Mass Carnival. Have not tried it yet. I want to, but then I was like, well, I kind of want a few more abilities. Well, now here comes where the learning curve, if you will, gets really steep. Because unless you have a party when you go into some of these hard dungeons, and you can't do any of the primals by yourself, God forbid, you got to have people to do them with. And I'm running out of abilities that I can do by myself. And this is now getting my problem with Blue Mage is it's a limited job, but I have to have people to do it. So it's kind of...
There was a comment like that on, I think it's like Blue Garter's website. They're like, it turns out Blue Mage is the most social job in the game because you basically have to pre-made your parties to go do this stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of, to me, it defeats the purpose. Like I read limited job as solo job. Here's a job that you go to solo stuff and you do things around. Even if it was difficult, there still should be a way, like a progression of abilities to some degree that I can kind of step my way up so that I can do everything but maybe the primals. I can kind of get that. Maybe 6 abilities that you have to get friends to come help you do. But everything else, I feel like you should be able to jump in there, unless it's a primal. So maybe also Fungar and whatever.
Yeah,
the
Ultros. The Ultra ones.
Yeah.
Those are.
And Typhon. So that I get. But everything else, there should be a way. Like if I'm doing those dungeons, there should be a way that I can have one ability that, or a step-by-step thing. If I use these 3 in conjunction, I should be able to waltz my way through some of these with a little bit of difficulty. I think I went into Brayflox hard, and I'm like, I can't even beat these first 2 fucking ads.
I don't have any of them over there, so I can't do them by myself.
So I was gonna dual box. I was gonna get on Cinna's computer or force her to do it, and then her graphics card crapped out or something. So that's if you haven't seen Cinna on lately, other than the boredom, it's because some dust or something has gone to her graphics card. I cleaned it out, but we haven't attempted to use the computer yet. So we'll see what happens. I might have to dual PC this and sit my Blue Mage ass in a corner and see if she can like warrior through some stuff for me and help me out there. But that's really my Blue Mage episodes. I'm just happy I got Glower. And let's see what else I do. So I had 3 extra chocolates left for Valentino's, and it's ended now. Now that we're recording, it's over. But last night I was on, or maybe it was Sunday. I was like, let me just use these, and I got out there to use them, and somebody shouted, "Hey, I need somebody to do the fortune teller." So I'm like, sure. There's nobody out here. Nobody's gonna do this with you. Let me walk over, and I did fortune teller with this Aura, and she was really nice. And I got a fortune I have never gotten before.
That horrific one.
The horrific one. Maybe because I don't know this person. I don't know how the game would know this. But anytime I do this with people I don't know, I either get, most of the time I get the ice one, where it's like you guys are not compatible. But I got the frickin' one where an imp comes down and steals a treasure chest from me, and we're both like crying. Wow. Yeah, it was really sad. And I was like, wow. And so we did 2 more. We got the ice on one of them, and then we got like a really good one at one point. So then I was like, did you get the secret one? They're like, what? I was like, let me show you. There's a secret one right here. So I was like, get the elixirs and then come over and I'll show you where the thing is. So then I took her to behind the woodshed and I whipped her. No, I took her behind the Lancers Guild and showed her where the magic pot is. We smoked pot behind the Lancers Guild. And then she's like, oh, shit. It's like, what's wrong? She goes, I bought 99 elixirs. I was like, oh, I didn't tell you just buy 2. I was like, just buy some elixir. I said buy some elixir. I didn't say buy 99 elixirs. I was like, well, maybe they'll use them next year. Bye. So that was my good deed for that day. And then I was still bored. So I was like, finally, let me drag my ass into Pagos. Yes, fans, Rubicon has gone back into the frozen wasteland known as Pagos. I think Sunday night you caught me on Yelta because I was getting my Aetherites. You know, they nerfed them.
Yeah, it was
And,
a good thing too. It really helped the flow in there, I bet.
I needed it. I was 29, and it was like one is 30 and the other was 32. I think back before they nerfed them. The geo studies, whatever it was 30, and then the one on the other side, over by those maybe dragons or whatever it is, where Behemoth kind of spawns. That one was 32, and that was so daunting. And I didn't want to tiptoe past dragons every fucking time I wanted to go do a party. It was insane. Yoshida, it's insane. So I got those two, and then I logged off Sunday night. And then yesterday, we ran around town, Cinna and the baby and I. And then when I got home, I was like, let me try a little more Pagos. So I joined. I think I did it twice yesterday. Once in the morning and once in the evening. And I think I crept up to 31. Did a lot of NMs I had not seen before. I did Worms. I did Behemoth. I did a few on the left side, like Brothers. I had done a Sog before, but only once because I had to tiptoe past a dragon to get there. Now I can just teleport out there and meet up. Finally saw the Forge. Saw Louis. So we went and did Louis. I didn't get shit because, I died 20 times and I'm too underleveled for it. What do you have to be, like 34 before you can get anything, probably?
No, the last one, I think you have to be, like, the level to get the best, to get the actual reward. You have to be...
35?
I don't know. Is it 35 in there? I can't remember. I
think 35 is the max for Pagos. Of course, you can level beyond that, but that's where it caps you at, when you're in there.
Mm-hmm.
So... I did Louis the first time I saw him. I didn't know there was that little ice thing. Like I tried to jump off the cliff and I missed it. I went the wrong direction. It's like, where the fuck did everybody go? And so I teleported back up and somebody in my party was dead. So I raised him. And then another person in my party came up with the dual seat chocobo. And I was like, well, this dude's lower level than I am. I'll wait for him to jump on. And he ran off. I was like, fuck that. Ride pillion.
Hop on.
I hopped on and they took me over and I was like, oh, you go left because you take a left and it goes under the ice into the little room. And then I died repeatedly over and over and over.
It hurts.
It's terrible. But we did it. It was fun. And then from there, I think we did a couple of others. But I was in a party that the guy who was head of the party, I think there were two others that were head of the party at first, and they were cool. That might have been my second party. They were actually cool. The first party I did that I think had Louis involved with it, the leader ended up leader by defunct. Like somebody left and they got leader. Well, they didn't do shit. They stood around the whole time, didn't do anything until the NM popped, which is typical for Eureka. But you can also add people to the party, and as people dwindled, they never added anybody to the party. So it got down to 4 people when we were doing, I think, Manu or whatever, the Araman spawned, and we did that one with 4 people. And I was like, fuck this, I'm out. You're not doing anything, so that was terrible. If you're going to be the party leader, at least add people or pass lead. Do something with it. Don't just stand around and not add more people. And then that same party, I think part of the reason people left was half of us were where the NM train was, and the other 4 were fucking around on the left side of the map, and I don't even know what they were doing out there. There's no I have no clue. Maybe they were doing their log, doing sprites or something. I have no idea what the deal was, and then they left. And I'm still hearing the best thing to do is go to Animos, get your log done, and then get back on the Fate train. So that might be what I do this week, go into Animos, get my log complete for the most part, and then hop on the Fate train. So I get that good XP from the log and then move forward.
And when you get to Hydatos, the map is so small and there are mobs of each type. I did my log in there last week because it was actually a lot less running around. I don't know. It's a much easier map, so maybe that'll change, but you'll have to be high enough level to get there.
Sure. So, and that's probably a good flow. I'm sure the powers that be are analyzing the flow of Eureka and what to do better in 5.0. I think Animos being a place to finish your challenge log is a good thing, but I would also say that they should have done that for maybe Pyros as well. And then made it where like it's kind of a step down, like so maybe Animos and then Pagos is a grown up version of Animos, and then you got Pyros, and then you've got Hydatos, a grown up version of Pyros. But we'll see how they
Yeah.
flesh it out in the future. I mean, from what I hear, once you get to Pyros, it's more fun. It's more enjoyable. It's still kind of a slog to some degree, but it's not terrible. And Hydatos again is the victory lap, and it's a lot of fun. And I know you'll share some stuff that you did in there that was enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to that one. But again, I got to get to 35, and I got to deal with all this fucking light farming. And I looked up some methods of that. I found out, you helped me today find out what the forge is full means, forge farming. And I knew people were farming dragons before, and so your boy Ruby might be an expert by the time I get out of Pagos. I might figure out this Eureka stuff. Of course, it's the vast wasteland we're getting into, and it's the only thing I'm going to know to really do other than doggo farming, which I got to get back on that train before terribly long. But if I'm feeling Eureka, I better stick with Eureka for now. So anyway, that's a major thing that I did this week. We had some fun last night. You know, I tried the Rock'em Sock'em robots the other day.
Yes, yeah.
And I did terrible. And I got a really nice post from Mithrin Scarlet. I guess I could read part of that now if I didn't share that last week. A good friend of the podcast, Mithrin Scarlet, sent me what to do in Rival Wings. What's the name of the new one? Train, play with Gob.
Choo-choo trains.
Gobby
I don't know.
choo-choos.
I was even the party leader last night, and I'm like,
In the new PvP called Gobby Choo Choos, he says, if you don't know what to do, grab Ceruleum. If you do know what to do, he tells you, he's telling us, you know, which ones to destroy. You found an actual guide. SE put out like a guide.
Yeah, it's actually there. I'm like, why? That would be one of those things when I went to the Wolves Den or something, it would maybe pop up and tell me, go check out the guide. It walks you through whatever I forgot it's called.
So we jumped in there because we've been saying, let's have a Monday night PvP night. Our friend and FC mate, Snickbat, was like, hey, let's do this. And so we're like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Well,
And it was Hidden Gorge. That was what we did first.
Yeah, Hidden Gorge. So one problem we had with Hidden Gorge was that you have to only have 4 people because it's like 6 teams of 4 versus 6 teams of 4. And when you queue up, you're only a team of 4. Well, when we were promoting this, we're like, yeah, let's find 8 people to do it. Well, we had like 5 people. So we did one of them before the 5th member was able to join up with us. He was unlocking some stuff. So we did it one time, and it was all right. I felt a little better about it, but of course, like, we got yelled at because it was like we didn't have our robot out. I was like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this robot? So I jumped in one, not knowing what the hell I was doing. Now I know a little better. Like, you have to have a robot, and then you have to have somebody, like, help guide the robot. Like, you have to have, like, a big robot, and then you have to have a little robot, some little robots to help.
You have to have Cruise Chaser, and you have to have Oppressor, and the Cruise Chaser sounds like are used to kill people off so the Oppressor can get somewhere and kill things.
Yeah, because I got in the Oppressor, and they waylaid me. They just, like, took me down. It was terrible. I felt bad. And that was the experience for the Hidden Gorge. I want to do it again. I want to do it with people who are going to carry me to victory so I can see it. So I can see it firsthand. I've only been in 3 times, and I've lost all 3 times. So it's like morale is dropping by the second when I'm in there. But it wasn't bad, and it was quick, and it was good. I was talking to Baldesion, or he was talking to us, and he was mentioning, like, well, when you go into Hidden Gorge, you're not supposed to kill people. It's like, well, wait a second. This is PvP. But he's like, if you're killing people, you're doing it wrong. You gotta do it like Dota, or you gotta do it like I don't know, like Heroes of the Storm or something.
See,
like
and
that.
I have no experience with any of that, so most of this is just like flies over my head. Shatter makes sense to me that you can make points by shattering things.
Oh, I get all
or-
of those too. Yeah.
That makes sense to me. You can PvP or you can, kill ice, but the robots. And then I thought I was worried I'd get yelled at if I took a robot and I shouldn't have one. And yeah.
Well, apparently we should have had one instead of not having one, because like it even tells you. That's the thing. It tells you on the screen which teams have grabbed their robot, and it's like ours was the only one not grabbed their like group. No, there was another group too. They don't know either.
Yeah.
We weren't the only
We didn't know-
dumbasses.
We didn't know what we were doing, and I think that's okay.
It's supposed to be okay. This is not the Feast ranked championship, of which I got first place in. So. Psych. Yelta was very kind to link the guide here to me as I speak, and that's going to be on the lodestone. So if you can navigate to the lodestone, it's under the play guides, and it is under Rival Wings, I believe, or the contents guide. Let me go to Rival Wings here.
Yeah, if you go to the play guide, they actually have a lot of good stuff in here. They have a PvP guide, a Rivals Wing guide, Frontlines Wolves Den. They got all the deep dungeons.
Yeah, I could use to read these again.
There's a lot of good stuff here. I'm not used to coming here though.
We only come here for the news. We don't come here for the guides. So we ought to come here more for the guides, I guess. But if you go to the lodestone again, hit there's some tabs at the top. If you highlight play guide, it gives you a list at the bottom. You can click on Rival Wings, and then if you scroll down just a tad, you've got Astrologos, which is turned off right now. You can't go into it. And you've got the Hidden Gorge. And if you click on that, boom, you got a play guide right there. It tells you what to do. Ruby will have this up the next time he goes in there, so he's not a embarrassment to the rest of his team. So that's cool. But we switched gears because, again, we had 5 people. So we're like, hey, we got to do some more. And we jumped into Frontline. Now, of course, Frontline has the roulette, so you can only do one type per day. It's either going to be Secure Seas or Shatter, and it was Secure, I believe. And I think it was Secure, wasn't it?
We did Borderlands Secure.
Yeah, it was Secure. So it's the old one. It's the one that had first came
it's
out.
The first one, right?
The first
it's
one.
The first. Yeah.
And it's got the little things at the top and the middle, and you got to go break them, and then you got to hold your camp. Now, when we were doing it back in the day, when it was popping, before Rock'em Sock'em came out recently, you would have 3 teams of like an alliance, but it was only
you'd have 3 teams of 24, and so there were people everywhere. That's what I noticed was very different last night.
Right. Well, because there were so few people, they did it where it was just 3 teams of a party. So it was 8v8v8. Drink your V8. Have you had your V8 today? So we were Maelstrom, go Maelstrom, and we did 2 of these because it took 15 minutes per pop. And we did the first one, and the first one was really good. We won, Yelta. We won.
Yeah, that felt kind of nice, and we were having a lot of fun in voice chat.
I was getting high.
I was actually starting to. I was not too happy to be doing PvP at first.
Aw.
Half of because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm trying to fill the team, or I'm trying to fill the party, and then I was upset that we had 5 people who wanted to go right away, but the first thing we did only was 4. But no, by the end of the night, I'm like, maybe the key to enjoying this more is doing it more often.
I agree with you. Yeah. So I had a blast. I got high, battle high.
You did have battle high.
I did have
you
battle
had a
high.
mark on the mat. Yeah. You were like, nope, you're dead, and nope, you're dead.
You can tell when I have fun in PvP when I start talking shit.
You were talking shit, and you weren't the only one. There were other voices in chat talking shit. It was pretty fun.
Well, and Brock was helping. Brock was with us.
So fun.
And Brock was like, "Get the summoner. I got you, summoner, you little bitch," or something. And then I was like, "Not today, summoner." Boom. I was on my summoner, and it just feels good to bust out Bahamut, and then like you see the little scholar running away, and they just got a little sliver of health, and they're kind of like. They're trying to heal up real quick, and then I'm like, boom! Akmorn, you're dead. It's so nice. So I felt really good doing that, and we have to do that more because it's just a lot of fun. I guess the part that I'm a little sad at is that now that we're doing Hidden Gorge, and now that I'm understanding the whole point of Hidden Gorge is not to kill other people, well, that's where I get the thrill, is killing the people. So to do the objective over killing people, I still like killing people. So
Well, I think you still get to kill people. They just might be in their own robots.
I guess so.
Yeah, but
And maybe once I get the understanding down of it, then I'll know the right time to attack other players and the right time to do the objective and balance both of those. But it was really fun to do Frontlines again. I had a blast. I just wish these popped faster. 15 minutes at a time was, we were like, let's do this for an hour, and we only did 2 of them. It's like, that's lame.
Well,
so
and then I understand why they do it, but then I was confused. I had 4 people in the party. I pull up the thing to queue up, and it's like it only lets me do 2 things. Well, not enough people do PvP, so I think it's every day they pick. I think they pick one of what are the 2 types? I think they pick one rival wings and one frontline. And that's the one that you can actually get into that day.
Yeah, and I think for now, Astrologos is sealed off. They want people in Hidden Gorge, so they're not rotating the rival wing stuff yet. But I assume, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week, that they will probably get to a point where they're rotating those, or if later down the road, not this expansion, but maybe the next, if they add something else to rival wings, they will cycle through it like they do the front line.
Right.
And that's a good thing, but until that happens, you basically have rival wings that is taking the majority of the PvP because it's going to pop fast. And see, people are just want to queue for something that's going to pop fast. It's not necessarily, it's partially the enjoyment, yeah, but it's not necessarily all about the enjoyment. It's about how quickly can I get this done. Efficiency is important. So if it's going to take me 20 minutes even to do something fun just to get into it, it's going to be a deterrent for me to actually queue up for it. There's days where I want to do an expert, and if it's the wrong time of the day and I'm on a DVD, I'm on a DPS job, and I see that it's going to be like 15 minutes or something, I'm like, screw this.
Yep,
I'm going to go do something else. Yeah, I'll do it another time when there's more people on. So there's got to be a way to get this going, but maybe it's just because we're in the time we are in the expansion. I would like to do more of this PvP though. So I think for us, maybe promoting our Monday night PvP might be good for us within our own circle, our cross-world link shell, our normal link shell, Nofika's bosom, and our free company. Between the 3, getting enough people to do this stuff. And then if we don't have enough people, obviously rival wings is a great thing to do because we only need 4 people for the Hidden Gorge. But then if we got enough for 8, we can jump into Frontline and go that route with it. But regardless, I had a blast. I killed a lot of people, felt good about it. We lost the second match, but we got close. We were 3rd, and then we did some maneuvers, and we took a couple of camps. We got to 1st at one point, and then we lost sight of the thing in the middle. And I think if we had beaten the Twin Adders up there, I can't believe Twin Batters won that one.
Yeah, they really kicked ass, honestly.
Terrible Gordon's fisherman looking fucks. But we lost sight of the deal in the middle. And one thing that we also discovered that you don't discover when you've got 3 alliances is if you don't beat that tower in the middle, it will explode and kill everybody. Everybody died at one point. Everybody was in the center, and we were killing each other instead of that thing in the middle. Will it explode? Exploded, and it killed everybody. Like, everybody was dead up top, and everybody had to respawn. And I think the whole arena was like, what? Everybody was laughing about it. So I think it was a good time was had by all. So that was the PvP stuff. Shit, I guess that's everything I did. I thought I did more than that, but not really. I think this is going to be another good week. I go out of town next weekend. I got some family stuff. I'm taking my wife and my son to Massachusetts to visit mine and Cinna's family. And my son turns 1 year old this week. So happy birthday to my little bean boy, Alexander Prime. Happy birthday, son. If you're listening to this in the year 2048, your dad loves you. Nanu, may the force be with you. I don't know what else to say.
Now, has Little Bean seen snow yet?
No, this will be the first time. We got him a nice coat this weekend.
Yeah, and
they'll
have snow in Massachusetts. So.
Oh, they just got snow up there, and I think we're hanging out with a friend, Excalibur. What's up, buddy? I think we're supposed to have some hot pot or something up there. Well, they legalized hot pot in Massachusetts. Yelta, I don't know if you knew that.
I don't even know what hot pot is.
It's Chinese. Like we're gonna have like Asian, like where you cook the meat in the pot, kind of like a Korean barbecue, but you got like the hot soupy stuff, and you put the meat on top of it.
Oh.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go eat. That's all I care about.
There's food involved. I'll
Food
be right
involved.
over.
There better be a lot of food involved. I better get some steamers and some crab and all kinds of good seafood while I'm up there. But a good time will be had by all. That being said, we won't be around next week, so we're taking next week off. But then we'll be back, and hopefully we have more news than what little trickle that we had coming this week. But anyway, I digress. Yelta, tell us what you did this past week.
I did all the weekly things. I also did like you. Somebody needed help with the Valentine's Day quest. Someone in the free company. I was doing something, and one of the new guys was like, "Can someone come help me?" And I'm like, "Okay, same story as you. They'd done everything else. They just needed someone to do the fortune tellers." And then I came out and did that. And then I'm like, "You know about the other stuff, right?" And they're like, "The what?" Now, I very carefully told him only to purchase 2 of the magical elixirs.
Well, you're a better person than I am.
See, I'd already done it with Ulf, too. So I'm like, you only need 2. I'm trying to decide if I'm mildly frustrated or completely excited that there was something in the game that it didn't lead you to by the nose. Right? But it is so, you get even the quest kind of mentions, we talked about this last week, I think. The quest kind of mentions there's a fortune teller out there who's not on the up and up. And so I could see you stumbling across getting your fortune told and then being like, "Oh, there's these elixirs." But after that, how would you know what to do? It's kind of cool to me that something's left up to the imagination, but there's not anything that even talking to an NPC, or I couldn't find anything that led you or hinted at or anything. So I'm usually the one who complains that we just chase around marks on our mini maps, but this one was like almost too obscure. So, but anyway, I walked him through it. He got all the things and he was happy. So yeah, then I did do Eureka. I got to 60, and I had not done a reflect party before. I have the ability reflect, and I always I've started keeping one on me because I knew people were shouting for reflect parties. I just never got in one. So I keep jumping into Eureka, and I shout for a party, and you might get into one that is like the one you were talking about. The leader wasn't inviting anybody after the first 10 minutes, and then everybody's off doing their own fucking thing. So if I just shout, white level 58 white mage looking for a group, who knows what the fuck you'll get invited to. If you're more specific, where I want to do lockboxes or XP or an NM train or whatever, sometimes you get a better party that way. But I went in and just like generally shouted, "White mage looking for party," and I got to tell. They're like, "Do you have reflect?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." So he invited me to the party, and I right away came out with, "I have reflect, but I've not done a reflect party." And they're like, "Don't worry about it. It's easy. We'll teach you how," whatever. So I ran out to Sprite Island, is what they call it. It's southwest of the higher level aetheryte you can get. I ran out there, and he showed me how it was done. They're like, "You have to take off all your gear," and I'm like, "Okay." I have a screenshot of a whole bunch of naked people, and I even
report him, Yelta.
I know. I typed back. I'm like, "This feels wrong." And then and then they showed me how to do it, and then we went and did an NM and came back, and then I'm like, "All right," I'm like, and then they did the next. Somebody else did the next round who knew what they were doing, and then they're like, "Okay, Yelta, you try it." Well, I didn't know you had to hit the reflect first. I thought I could take one hit. No, I was dead. And then I'm just like, "I'm sorry. And they're like, "Don't be. There's a reason. You could do this solo, but people usually take a buddy because there's no reason not to. You don't get punished for having a party, and you have, a raise." So then I went out and did the pop after that, and yeah, you basically like hit reflect, run out there, aggro all of them, and solo. The rest of your party's just kind of hanging over in the corner. And you just keep hitting reflect as the timer goes down, and then until all the sprites are dead, and then you just rinse and repeat. And then especially after you've murdered a bunch, then if an NM pops, you have time to go out, do the NM, and come back. And and then there was like another person trying to do the reflect thing by himself, and then the party leader of my party just invited him, and then so there's like, why not? Why not be in a party for that? Somebody else came by and they're like, oh, I was hoping this camp wasn't taken, and they're like, just join, take your turn, and it's slow enough because only one person does it at a time. Now, mind you, I'm the first one to complain about AFKing till a fate pops. But, like, we were just waiting for them to repop. Someone would go out and pull them and kill them. And there was just so much time to chat. And this was a very friendly group. And, every time I was like, man, I'm scared of screwing up. And they're like, who cares? We'll raise you and we'll move on. It was really refreshing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's nice when you have other people that you can do that with. I didn't realize it was something you could do by yourself. But the danger in that is somebody's going to have to come along and raise you. I guess Hydados is such a small map, it's probably not that hard to get a raise.
Yeah, I complained about earlier. I get what you're saying about it could be like a victory lap, but there's really no depth to the zone. They probably threw all the depth into the Arsenal.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. It's the Arsenal's probably taking up so much space of the zone that the rest of the zone is kind of dinky.
Well, the Arsenal isn't on the map even. I don't know when you go I haven't gone into a party. Now, last night I could have. I killed the mob. I had the buff. I could have joined their, like, invite for BA, and I chickened out. I don't want to get yelled at.
Yeah, I haven't. Of course, I haven't done that yet. I'm not nearly that far. And you haven't gone into it. But my understanding is, since it's a public dungeon, even though you're taking a portal, it's not a different instance. I would be hard-pressed to think that it actually takes you to a different map completely. I'm just wondering if it's, like, off of the map that you can see.
I think it's the same instance you already were in before you hit the portal, but I don't think it's something you can see on the map.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, and in fact, I think I should just put on my big girl panties and go. I mean, but I don't want to be one of those people who are like, someone sniped my portal, so I don't want to be that bitch who sniped your portal either. But it's my understanding, and I haven't done it yet, but it's my understanding that even if you get in right away and kill like the first two bosses, you can get rewards. Even if you don't make it all the way through, you get something. So, and this is me talking out of my ass. It's kind of like what I've heard.
Ozma Ozma or die, Ozma or skip Sore or disband. I don't know. Yeah, we're not getting to the end. Fuck it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and I had read a post. They're like, honestly, if you do, EX primals when they're first out, if you do any savage rating or are smart enough to get through, a blind 24-man, you probably can do this, especially if you have a group of people you know and trust and work together. So it doesn't. It sounds like it's hard, but it's not impossible. So I want to get in there and get my Ozma mount. Speaking of mounts, I want my dogs. I did go back and do some more Shinryu dog farming. They are still they still pop up. I have noticed a drop in dog farming parties since Eureka, the newest Eureka came out. I think a lot of people are in there grinding that stuff. But just do what I do. Go do your weekly crafting collectible turn-ins and just keep the party finder up and look to see if anybody, is looking for it, and hop on it when they are. And then I tried some PvP, but we kind of covered that already. It's I didn't know what I was doing. I think I'd be more comfortable running a party and gathering people up and stuff next time.
Did you like it on White Mage?
I feel like I don't have a big enough heal, like a big enough instant heal to really I don't know. But once when I was the only healer in one of the parties, and if people don't stick together, it's hard. But if people stick together, I try to pump out the heals. Now, I didn't feel too bad when someone died Because when someone died, like Snick died, and I'm like, oh man, sorry, I was like curing you. And he's like, no, 4 people targeted me. It was all over. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, no, I think I might see if I can go in there and learn Scholar. I don't know if Scholar might be more powerful than it, but I like White Mage. I like a size. That one I love just like hitting someone with stone and then they're trying to run away but they can't because they're heavy and then I nail them and their buddies with the size. Yeah. That's actually kind of satisfying.
Yeah.
And then I have to go back and read, I think, more closely some of the tooltips on things. Like the first thing I do is I go in there and I like automatically hit protect. Well, protect's not a group wide buff in there. It's a one person buff. And I had to figure out which one of my buttons was the limit break one. You have personal limit breaks in there, which I love.
Right.
In fact, I wish they would make that happen in the real world. Don't call them, limit breaks, but, have some sort of job action that's, I have a little bar.
Well, the last time people
oh,
did
shit
that,
button.
they got suspensions and 1-day bans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But no, it would be kind of cool to have like a little meter that's like like a 2-hour in Final Fantasy 11 was, right? It's not a limit
Right.
break party wide, but it was my oh shit button. But maybe well, whatever. It would be kind of cool. But it was fun playing with some different people. We had some other people in our Discord that we haven't had before and got to do that. I do feel bad that like one person like came, joined. We had already queued up. It was going to be like a 12-minute queue or 15-minute queue or something. And then had been in it for 9 minutes and someone else is like, I'm free now. So it's like, okay, I'll invite you. But then you go to the back of the line. Right? And then we didn't have enough time to do that mini. I also didn't queue up immediately every time we were done. I didn't know if people wanted to keep going. I didn't know if we were waiting more people to show up. So I think communication. But I felt awkward the first time I ran map parties too. Right? Now
Yeah.
I'm just like, list your maps. I'll make a list. We're going to go down them, and I just will boss you. So maybe
It becomes more efficient. The more you do things, the more
Yeah.
efficient it becomes, and you feel like a stronger leader when you do it. So I think as we do more, and I like the Monday night thing. I'm kind of feeling Monday
you
night.
think Monday night's all right?
I think it's all right. Monday night's all right for fighting.
We're gonna
It's
have
the name
to
of
put
this
that
podcast.
No, I'd like to do it some more. And honestly, there are some rewards in PvP I want to have. In fact, the White Mage Glamour I'm wearing is one of the PvP sets. It's and there's hairstyles and minions and other stuff I don't have yet. And then there's minions that drop, I think, too, that I don't have yet. So I keep meaning to go in doing PvP, but then I chicken out because there's usually something else I would rather do.
Hmm.
There's actually a lot to do. We talk about the vast wasteland, but really, I haven't done all the things yet.
Oh no, and we still have to work our way up to the Baldesion Arsenal, and there's still a lot to do with. We still have doggo farms. We still have Eureka, especially when we get to the fun stuff. I think when we talk about Vast Wasteland, it's sometimes you have to make up your own events. So you have to make your own parties. You have to set up your own farms. You have to set up your own fun times. And I think like if you want to be passive, there's nothing to do. I'm not talking about us specifically, but I think any player.
No, that's me very much. A lot of times I won't start a party finder 90% of the time. I will wait till the perfect one pops for me.
Mhm.
But I should just create my own party finders because honestly, I bet it would fill.
And you'd be a much better leader than half of them. I believe that.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate that. We also appreciate our new patrons.
Yeah.
Do you
So
have some? Yeah.
I'm going to read those. Yeah. So we have 2 new patrons. Thank you for being a part of Gather Together. So we have Zach and we have Susan Sprinkle. Thank you very much for being a part. For those that are interested, if you make a $10 pledge, you get, and Ruby fixed this, an automatic invite to the Gather Together Discord. And we've had some interesting discussions lately, and we appreciate those that are in there chatting. We would love to have your voice as part of that. And of course, we will talk about what you guys talk about in the upcoming episodes. I think we talked a little bit recently about those leaks that came out. That was kind of the biggest thing because I think one conversation we were having is that if the leaks were coming from the Japanese people, they wouldn't have used the term Barakat. I think that's used more Western. It doesn't really fit what a Japanese person would use to describe a lion type race. So we were kind of trying to analyze where these original leaks came from. I've also heard Yoshida don't really care for the leaks. I think those that have not the podcast, we must be under the radar, right? But
no one knows about us.
Nobody knows about us, so nobody's listening. We haven't got a cease and desist. But I think those that may have like put some stuff out on Twitch, or if they've been spreading some of this stuff, have been told you need to stop. I thought I heard somebody say that they had been told to stop. I don't know if that was in game or if that was on Twitch or what the medium was for that. If it was a YouTube video, I doubt that. But there was some medium that they were kindly told to not spread that. I think we're gonna know more here soon. We've got the Japanese Fan Fest before terribly long. I guess I better wait to make that our first news story, but we're gonna be getting some information before terribly long, and those things that are deemed as leaks or spoilers may not be so for terribly much longer.
Yeah, we're gonna have some actual info soon, I hope. All right, you can shoot the shit with us on the website. Go to www.gtffxiv.com and fill in that vast wasteland of lack of comments. Our first round is news, and this is where we're going to find stuff, guys. Announcing the Fan Festival 2019 in Tokyo stage schedule. It's happening. It's coming up. It's not for a month, but it's coming up. So the Tokyo Fan Festival's fast approaching. Plan your viewing schedule. So the keynote, they're going to do that. Now these are PDT times like as normal. So it's going to be Friday, March 22nd. It's 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 or 8 p.m. PDT.
Oh yeah, because daylight saving times is going to change.
Yeah,
well, I was just looking at PST to PDT. We're going to get out of that winter time and back to daylight time, but yeah, that's a straight up a month, probably from the moment you're listening to this episode. It's straight up a month.
So this is going to be Shadowbringers, guys. So, and this is the last major festival news dump for Shadowbringers. So I'm hoping if it's not in here.
Yeah, the only thing I would say the only thing I would say outside of this is going to be when we get battle changes, probably what they say in May.
They're gonna give us and the whole live letter is gonna be the changes, right? They said that's too much to just make it a line item on a keynote or a live letter. It's gonna have to be the whole thing. So this is hopefully where they're going to tell us, because we don't know what the next job is, right? There was no hint in the last one. There was
job?
Nothing.
You mean multiple jobs, Yelta, right?
Multiple new jobs, and the crowd went wild. I'm like envisioning this because I remember we were there in Las Vegas, and they were like making it a big deal. They're like, multiple new jobs, Sundays. No, and the crowd was like, yeah. And then if multiple means two, I'm gonna be pissed off, and I'm sorry. When you're talking in the keynote and you're talking about Shadowbringers in the keynote, they better not be counting Blue Mage. I know a lot of people are like, they're counting Blue Mage, and I'm like, oh, that rubs me the wrong way.
It does. It really does, because for North American Fan Fest to be given the A Realm Reborn job, and then the other two are only given one job, and let's be honest, if we've got a tank coming, if there is only one other job, it's going to be a healer.
It better be a healer.
It's going to be. It has to be a healer. And I'm 90% sure it's going to be Dancer if there's going to be. But how predictable. So we already have predictable stuff. They might come out of left field, but I don't think we're getting our Necromancer. I don't think we may get a Geomancer. But, I mean, these are still way lower down the scale than... Oh, sorry.
Okay. My best hope, honestly, and I'm really just... I think they're going to announce a healer. It's probably going to be Dancer. And I think, honestly, the best case scenario will be they'll be like, oh, and here's another limited job. And I would accept that. That's still multiple new jobs. People will have exhausted Blue Mage most people will have exhausted Blue Mage by then. So I would accept take a Beastmaster or whatever.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm really, in my heart of hearts, I'm going to tell you, I'm hoping they knock it out of the park. They're like, I don't even know what they would do though, because we got 2 damage dealers with Stormblood.
Mhm.
So I feel like because they balance the scales. I don't know. They're giving us a tank. They're going to have to give us a healer, I think. And I have a hard time thinking they'd give us more. I mean, they could do a physical range DPS. I think that
I would love a physical range DPS to go along
Yeah.
with it, and I would feel somewhat more complete about what they're
Mhm.
doing for Shadowbringers. But without that, I just feel like if we do get a new race, and if gods forfend, we get 2 new races and 2 new jobs, I'm befuddled. I just don't really get how they couldn't create new jobs, but yet they can come out with new races. I was talking to Senna about this, and I was like, is it really that much easier for them to create all kinds of new helmets and new gear and all that, other than being creative and coming up with a new job? And she was like, it's a lot of work coming up with a new job, but it also is a lot of work coming up with a new race. And if that's how they split up their resources, to me, it just doesn't seem that way. Like we've got a team that's doing the design work, but they're not actually. Is that the same team that would be crunching the numbers for stat weights and balancing
I would
abilities?
assume they are separate teams, different job skills. I'm still kind of noodling on. They've announced and shown us female Viera. I go back to this interview from 2013 where Yoshi-P's like, the question was specifically about mixed races, and he's like, I don't think we'll have mixed races for a while. Since it seems like Viera is popular around the world, we have been proactively looking into this, but since having a rabbit male might be kind of weird, maybe we'll look into having a separate race for the male counterpart. And that matches one of the newer leaks. They're like, you're getting a Barakat male and a Viera female, and they're not the same race. You're not going to see male Viera, and it's like, I don't know what I think about that. But now that I see again in black and white that interview, I'm like, man, that might have been
What an old interview, too.
I know. I had to dig. I'm like, somebody had linked it, but not linked or had linked the screenshot, but not linked the interview, and I had to go back and dig that up. And it's like, and if they do that, okay. Honestly, if they give us, female Vera and male lion dudes, all right. I don't really care, but the outcry immediately is gonna be, where are our male bunnies and where are our female lions, right?
There's going to be torches and pitchforks.
Torches, and maybe that should be the name of the episode. Torches and pitchforks. And,
well, we'll once they announce it, we'll save that one for Tokyo Fest when they actually announce it.
I want to see if I want to see if the crowd goes quiet like NA did when they announced Blue
What if they
Mage.
boo? What if they fucking booed?
They won't in Japan, will they?
They won't in Japan. Maybe that's why they save it for Japan, because in North America we would have found tomatoes.
Rotten tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm really, really hoping they tell us more about Shadowbringers. They've shown us 2 Beastman tribes, right? In the 2 different. No, mind you,
they've shown. We've heard of 3, but we've only seen 2.
What was the third one they show?
Dwarves.
Dwarves. Yes. So okay, yeah, I would actually.
Lolly ho.
Yep, Lolly ho. That's right. Because we had a screenshot of the. Is it the Nomu? I don't know. That's not a world I know.
Yeah, we had the Numu. Yep,
Okay,
you're right.
okay.
And then we saw the pixies.
The pixies, and if the third one's dwarves, that's cool. So and that we usually get 3, don't we? Except for A Realm Reborn, we had a bunch, but A Realm Reborn was
5.
was like 2 whole expansions worth of content.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would invite and be happy to see that kind of stuff. So anyway, I have hopes and dreams for this keynote address, and I'm cautiously optimistic on what we'll see. And then they're going to have the opening ceremony immediately following that. Then they're going to have Welcome to Nakoi's Room. And it's going to be a segment where Yoshi-P invites a special guest to casually discuss topics that don't quite fit anywhere else. And they have not told us who that guest will be. They're going to have a cosplay contest. They're going to have a piano concert. And thus ends the first day. Then we're going to have the live letter from the producer, part L.
Fitty.
So Yoshi-P will discuss the latest information in the 50th installment of the letter from the Bruiser Live. And of course, this could talk about new patch stuff. This could talk about, Shadowbringer stuff, but...
Yeah, the patch would have dropped, but I guess they won't be terribly spoilery because the patch would have just dropped, but they can start to get into that stuff then. So when do we get the patch? Is it March what?
I don't remember the day now.
March 19th, maybe? What would that be?
I'm going to get back to you on that.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I'll see if I can look
I know
while
it's like
continue this
mid-March. And then they're going to have a development panel where they're going to talk about the dev team and take you behind the scenes to showcase the work that goes into creating Final Fantasy XIV. And then Yoshi-P is going to get another room, a part 2. And I'm assuming it will be another or the same special guest. Then Alienware is going to present the Feast Regional Championships, Japan Finals, so that's cool. And they're getting a Primals live concert. Yay! However, the concerts will not be broadcast. So there is a official Fan Festival 2019 in Tokyo website, but it's all in Japanese and I can't read that shit, so... But no, I'm excited, and it's a month away. We're getting a patch immediately before that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I've already pre-ordered my Shadowbringer, so that
I'm waiting for payday. That's this Friday. Then I can do it.
I think I ordered mine. I think Ulf ordered his. I think he's just getting the digital. I don't remember if he's even getting the collectors or not. But you can always add the digital collectors. Click on that website, Ruby. Click on the Japanese fan. They have this awesome ring, a Meteor Survivor ring. Have you seen that? Let me go.
Hold on, I'm going now.
Touch it.
I want to. Oh, I had to hit translate because I have no idea what's going on. Oh my gosh, look at that ring.
That's kind of cool. I don't know if I need one.
Silver ring.
I feel like it should have red in it, but I like it. It's kind of understated. In fact, actually, the way it is, it might not get questioned.
Look at that coin bank. Look at all this cool.
Yeah.
Obviously they get all the cool stuff.
I get some cool stuff for no reason at all, or for Valentine's Day. I'm not sure which, but I came home on Valentine's Day, and there was the Primals tour Blu-ray sitting on my pillow, and a Spriggan little pouch. It's adorable. It's just so cute. There's a figurine of Alpha and Omega. I haven't seen that one before, or else I just went past it. I don't need that because I don't like that
I
much.
have a nice mouse pad.
Oh, I have to hit CL Goods. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Socks? I would have grabbed these socks.
Socks. Cute.
There's a Primals Moogle.
What is a nanoblock? Are they kind of like Legos or something? There's a nanoblock Spriggan. I might need that. Someone buy that and send it to me. There's a Gil coin collection. Oh, that's neat. I don't know what I would do with it, but it's neat. Oh, okay. They got some good merch over there.
This totally looks like Legos. I wonder if they fit Legos. I'd get it.
I don't know. Nanoblocks sounds smaller to me, but maybe.
Yeah, it was tiny Legos.
There's a Spriggan and there's a Cactar.
I like it.
Oh, the Fat Cat compact card mirror. What? I don't even know what that is. But
We've talked about the Guild coin collection before.
Yeah, that's amazing looking.
Great.
I didn't really look at it closely before. The Soul Crystal Ice Cube tray tickles me, and I don't know why. But that's been around for a while too.
Right.
I have a message out to our Kariri Sumisu about this Gold Saucer board game. I need to pester her because I'm like, if I bought that, would you play it with me and then come talk about it? Because It'd be cool if it was like a neat game, not just ooh, here's something with Final Fantasy 14 stamped on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I scrolled up again. Those socks are awesome.
I want the socks.
Okay, little 8-bit, 16-bit characters or something. What does the T-shirt say? We are the warriors of light and darkness. Oh yeah, fan festival. We didn't have that T-shirt at ours, did we?
No, not that one. They still haven't released that Black Mage T-shirt that Yoshida wore the one time. That was like freaking awesome looking.
Oh man, Yoshi-P wore this chocobo portrait, fat chocobo portrait one.
Yep.
This fan festival T-shirt that's got purple text and all the jobs on the back. Man, I'd have loved to have that. Oh well. All right, so much good stuff. I hope we learn good things from the fan festival. I think are we getting another minion from that? Have they told us what that is? I don't even remember.
Well, it'll be the final one, so it'd be Eris.
Eris, okay.
Or Aerith.
Aerith. Oh man. Okay, so what do we got here now? We have Polygon. Oh, the Polygon interview with Yoshi-P.
Yeah, this was pretty short, I believe. Let me kick over to that. I was still looking for the date of that damn.
All right, well, I'm going to start then.
Release.
So Sunlit Rainfall. We're reading this right off of Reddit. Sunlit Rainfall says too long, didn't read since this isn't very long interview at all to begin with. Blue Mage's reception wasn't far off from what Yoshi-P expected. He seemed pleased with it, though nothing was asked about the job's future or long-term playability. I think in my heart of hearts, I think he knew it was going to be some are going to like it, some are going to hate it, and I think a lot of people would be pleased, but maybe not extremists on either side. So we'll see. Gimlet Dark. This one was interesting to me. Gimlet Dark took twice as much effort in terms of programming and scripting resources to create as a normal dungeon, effectively making it as much work as if it was two separate dungeons. Reception to Gimlet has been good. More dungeons may be designed this way in Shadowbringers, and the new trust system could contribute in this manner. So I wonder if they're talking about like the AI for the NPCs in there, because they like run away from shit. And I know stuff as before, but I don't really know. Now, Gimlet Dark to me is kind of a straightforward, boring dungeon. It's interesting and kind of fun because you're fighting next to the other, NPCs of note in the game. But I didn't really think it was that exciting.
From a story perspective, it feels good.
Lore-wise, it's amazing. It feels amazing.
Because you get to see everybody and fight alongside Hien and Amaric and all kinds of guys, and it feels good. It's just like, what was the one when we were on the Castrum or whatever the other one that it was near the end of Stormblood.
Well, I think like Alamigo. Was it Alamigo?
That's it, Alamigo.
Right? So
yeah.
you run past and different NPCs that we know, prominent NPCs we know from the game, are fighting, but you don't interact with them. This one, they're like in your same fighting circle,
right? And
you have to. It's spoilers, but you should have done it by now. You have to like hide under, what's her name's saving you from dying bubble. Another NPC does a limit break and murderfies one of the mobs. It is kind of cool, and I do appreciate that they're kind of pushing themselves to do kind of some more interesting, cool things. But still, the dungeon in my mind, it's
a snooze fest.
It's not that exciting. It's neat and kind of cool. But it is, again, really, it feels kind of like, after you do it for story, it feels like another soulless loot tunnel. And I'm really...
It's just really easy. Like, from a summoner's perspective, I dot all the mobs, and it's like they all die pretty quickly, and it's like, okay. And it's another one of those, the tank can pull the entire room up to the boss line and we just grind them all down, and then we do the boss, and then they can pull everything up to the boss line, and maybe take 2 pulls, because you got like one wooden door between the 2 major pulls, but everything it's it's really one of those tank wet dream ones where you just pull everything and just, but they're not even, the mobs don't seem to even hit that
No.
hard.
Well, and I did it the other night with Baldesion as the tank, and I was the healer, and I'm like, here, have a regen, and I'll just do DPS, because a tank that, well, and he's probably pretty well geared, but still, it's not a hard dungeon, and I understand they don't want to make non-optional dungeons have much in the way of teeth, but it's I don't know. I'm not. This doesn't really, make me that excited. That they're saying it took twice as much effort in programming and whatever. And honestly, I'm not that excited about the trust system. So, I don't know. All right, the next one is new expansions will almost always involve exploring a new geographic areas in Highland and not, say, re-exploring Eorzea or Korthus or anything like that. If we were to do the latter, they'd have to introduce a zone-wide level sync system of some kind, which Yoshi-P seems uninterested in doing. Blue is seen as a compromise in driving players to explore and populate old zones with new content. I have some issues with this paragraph. Do you have any comments?
The last sentence, yeah, for about 2 weeks. And then let me reread this. New expansions almost always involve exploring new geography. I like exploring new areas, but I think they've put a lot of work into those other zones for us not to have a reason to rediscover them without using limited jobs as the reason to go back. And the fact that Yoshi-P seems uninterested in doing so with the level sync, that is the thing we've been clamoring for forever, at least within Eureka.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a boon to the other areas, especially if you're doing content for limited jobs. I think they're missing a huge opportunity mixing the limited jobs with other jobs and doing level synced content in the overworld. I don't know why it seems so difficult. Maybe they boxed themselves into a corner with the way they programmed the open world. Obviously, Final Fantasy 14 is throw the open world away 14, because that's how they've seemed. After A Realm Reborn, it's like, what's open world? And that's it. Really, since 1.0.
Well, and I really feel like they could add new areas, and we way back when A Realm Reborn first came out, and some of the zones are small, or some of the zones have, like, it looks like you should be able to go through that tunnel into another area, and surely they'll add a dungeon to this spot later. I feel a little sad that they're not willing to, this game has zone lines, and it's not the, massive open world where you can just, like, seamlessly run all the way around the world. I really expected them to add in, okay, first of all, there's no flying, so they wouldn't really have to make an excuse for why you couldn't get through this gate until you were able to. There'd be no reason to level sync the stuff on the other side if you couldn't get there until you had done a quest to begin with. It also hurts my heart that he's basically dismissing level sync completely. Even if they made it so you could only do level sync in these new zones, but still in, let's say, there's whole zones in Korthus, there's whole zones in around Gridania that just don't exist, right? They were in the old game. There's no reason they couldn't add a door or a tunnel or a gate. Other games do it. If you're not level 75, you can't go through here. If you haven't gotten through this far in the storyline, you can't go in there. And they could still make it so, and once you're in there, you can do, new and exciting things. I feel like, I don't know, they like throw away, well, no one cares about Western Korthus anymore.
I mean, is it but Malore? Because this is 14. We're about to drive around in the Regalia to Nier, to, while Cloud and Shantoto and Dragon Quest and Lightning and Noctis and blah, blah, blah. So don't give me any lore bullshit with it. And then I go back to like 11. We had zones like Gustaberg and Lethene or whatever the other zones were, and then when expansions came out, they did branch off of those. Like when you would go into where the Moblins were at, and there was stuff that branched to those old zones. They weren't always like, okay, we're going to another continent and then another continent and then another continent. No, they used the old zones. So I just don't understand the reasoning for throwing that away. Even if going through those zone line for whatever fucked off lore reason, they were like, we go into the belly of Agamoro or something like that, and then it's level 80 mobs in there. I mean, we don't know what the fuck is deep inside the belly of the volcano.
And you don't have to level sync it either. Let fucking level 50 people walk in there and die. I don't care.
Well, that's part of that danger that we don't have. Yeah, let an enemy be right at put some spiders or some crabs or some shit there, and just let them get waylaid as they walk in. That's fine. They should know better at this point, or if not, it teaches you, hey, maybe when I get close to 80, I can come back to this area.
If I was a brand new character, and I do this in other games, I fuck off to a zone that I have no business in, and I get stomped, and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to go back and get my revenge. That was me. That was me in Goblins in 11. The first I started in Gustaberg, so the first goblins you saw, you could actually get to some goblins and they just stomped you. And I'm like, I shall have my fucking revenge, and I did. And It was amazing, and I loved it. So I kind of hate everything in this paragraph.
I agree.
They could do something. There's no reason to throw it all away. And there's many technical reasons they could make it work. There's many lore reasons they can make it work. I don't know. It makes me sad. All right. Next one makes me a little sad too. Crafting is seen as being too reliant on cross-class skills up to level 50, which is a departure from the norm given how battle classes now have a common pool of skills to draw upon depending on their role. As such, developers are looking into streamlining these skills and potentially the entire crafting cross-class system, along with overall class balance, whatever that means in this context. I don't know. I always thought it was kind of cool that I had benefits by cross-classing skills and leveling everything up. But I don't know. I could also see where they could do it like role actions. If I have one job that has this skill, then I can use it on all the other ones or something. Well, kind of how it works now, I guess.
Kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going for here.
Because you'd still have to level up those other. You'd still have to like I can have on my red mage who's level 70 all the role actions leveled, but if my summoner was only level 30, I wouldn't have access to those. But the way it makes this sound is if I had one class, like Weaver was up to 70, it would unlock all the role actions, and then I could use them on the others. And I'm not really like, I'm fond of that in one regard, because like now if I have Weaver, I have X ability that I can use over when I'm leveling something else. And I see how, like, what is it? You have to, if you start with a culinarian, you get some stuff that you really need to help you get through the others, and it kind of gives you...
Go read any guide. It will be like, level this to 15, level all of them to 30, level this one to whatever, level all of them to whatever, and, use the skills and whatever. And I don't think it's that bad. Now, mind you, he says up to level 50. I'm just kind of focused into that. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of see if they want to streamline some stuff to hitting 50. We're 70 now, so from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, and now, in Shadowbringers, 70 to 80. I don't mind if they do some streamlining there. That's okay.
It might be daunting if you were just starting crafting.
Oh, no.
It may seem like a clusterfuck.
Last week or the week before, there was a post on Reddit, and it was like, or it might have been in the official forums. They were like, how do I make any fucking money? They were buying it sounds like they were buying all of the materials to craft off the market board, crafting shit.
That's not how you make money.
That is not how you do it. You need to, people were pretty helpful. They're like, you need to keep your gatherers slightly ahead of your crafters. If and one of the downfalls of the game, I do believe, is that because you really need a Disciple of War magic job up high enough to get through some stuff, so you really can't like level your crafters above your first war magic job, right? So a lot of people think, I'm going to craft so I never have to buy anything while I'm leveling my other war and magic jobs, and it doesn't work that way.
No.
You need to, my advice to people has always been just accept and just go for it. Just pick a war or magic job and just do the fucking storyline.
Yeah.
And then go back, level some gatherers, and then level some crafters slightly after that. And then use that to help you gear out your other jobs. But you're not going to level your first job as a botanist.
Yeah, 1.0 is over.
Weaver.
You missed it.
You're not going to parlay through the missions, and that because that was crap anyway. I don't know. It's kind of upsets me. But you know, I don't mind them. Honestly, I don't mind them nerfing crafting up to 50. Yeah,
up to 50. Yeah.
So
I can agree
so
with
like
that,
the rest,
yeah.
if the rest of this doesn't count when you're 60 to 70 or 70 to 80, I can handle it. But if they're like because crafting is, I don't know, crafting actually people complain about it being too hard, and then you go back and you read and you learn and whatever, and you know there was a big fight about the other day about how crafting. Well, if you have to use a macro, then obviously it's too difficult. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's funny. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. I do hope that they don't make the level 70 to 80 stuff especially so easy. It's I'm never one of those bleeding edge crafters, but those who are, I think if they level and gear up and can craft all the stuff and that we buy their stuff, I think they deserve what they get, and I think it's great. And I think that, and then if you have friends and free company members, if I give Bell Dandy mats, I get, right now, a really good set of gear. And I think that's okay. Because honestly, you don't need that, especially for your first job through. The game has always thrown you all the gear you could possibly need to get through storyline stuff as you're going through it. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I really hope they don't dumb it down, is my bottom line.
Same.
All right, finally, Yoshi-P has shit-tasted minions. This is from the Reddit post. This isn't me. He prefers the Omega minion to the Fat Cat or anything else for that matter. Well, wow. All right. And there's a lot of comments on this, but I haven't read any of it. So I think we've weighed in enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on then to reminders. Distant Worlds Minneapolis pre-show meetup. This is on Facebook. It's just called Distant Worlds Minneapolis pre-show meetup. It's public. It's hosted by Phoenix Down Radio. I'm going. I will be there. My husband's going also. This is Friday, March 1st. It's immediately preceding the Distant. Okay, it's a get-together at Rock Bottom Restaurant and Brewery right before we go to Distant Worlds concert. So, yeah, I'm going to be there. I've not been to the Rock Bottom Restaurant and Brewery. I have heard of it, though. It's up on Hennepin. You won't get stabbed at Hennepin, probably, so not anymore.
I hope not. I don't know anything about Hennepin.
I used to take a dance. I used to be a ballet dancer years and years ago, and my once a week class was on Hennepin Avenue, and my coworkers were like, this is like 20 years ago. They're like, really, you're going up to Hennepin at night? And I'm like, yes.
It probably got trendy. It probably was run down, and then
they
got trendy.
They made it trendy. Yeah. They like revitalized
the
area.
Happens.
It was. So yeah, Friday, March 1st at 6 p.m. Go to Rock Bottom Brewery. RSVP on this site, though. I'm sure that Phoenix Down Radio Klaus would appreciate it. So come do that.
I want a beer.
I don't like beer, but I have wine. I'm drinking wine now. I might need more wine to look at these images, Ruby. Oh my God, they're so good. We're getting a few. Please submit your entry for this. This is the Gather Together for 14 Show Your Bunny Boy contest. So we're asking you to draw, sketch, paint, whatever, what you think a male Viera might look like in Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, and tweet your entry to @GTFFXIV. We will give away 3 wind-up cloud minions to our favorite picks. And the contest ends March 1st, so you have still have time to enter. We've had a few entries.
Yeah, I think we've got up to 4 now. There's been a couple of like double entries. I think we have some people who have sent in more than one. I don't care how many you send. Send a bunch. Send a few. Send something. But they make me laugh, the ones I've got. And we've had a mix of drawing. We've had a mix of Photoshop, just pasting Big Chungus into something. We've had Jason Momoa with bunny ears. We've got all kinds of stuff going on right now. So if you want to draw it, if you want to paint it, if you want to cut it out of a magazine and glue it to a letter, just don't mail it to us with any white powder in it, please. Just do whatever you want. We want to see what you think a bunny boy should look like in Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. If they're in there, we don't know.
Oh boy. Okay, so let's see. Let's take some shots then, right? There was a problem with Baldesion Arsenal. Ew, wait. Oh no! This isn't the one I thought it was. I haven't seen this, Ruby. What is this?
What is this one? Maybe I marked the wrong one. What is this? There's a problem with the Baldesion, that is the content was marked as something different than the way it was implemented. This is one I had found. I think I read this yesterday. I was laying in bed and I was reading this one. And this is one where somebody just really doesn't feel like it's been labeled as what it should be. Now, it all boils down to the same thing. It's that some people believe that you should be able to make your group, set up your party or your big group of people, pop these portals, and everybody go in. And then you also
starts, right? And it starts
and it
there.
starts.
Yeah.
But what you also have is people that are getting into it because they see a portal and are like, hey, I want to try this. And there's a difference of opinion. Some are believing that they're being sniped because people are just like jumping into the portal, stealing their spot, quote unquote. And then the people who are, quote unquote, stealing the spots, not necessarily, are like, this is a public dungeon. I should be able to get into this shit because I saw a portal and I meet the requirements. And I've also seen, although I don't have any examples here, screenshots of 2 differing GM opinions. One that said, yeah, it's a public dungeon, jump into it, it's fine, everybody should have a piece of the pie. I'm subphrasing that. And then I also have seen one that said, yes, if they are deliberately and maliciously jumping into these to prevent something,
but who could prove
then
that?
we will investigate. But who could prove that unless it's like in chat or whatever? It's like anything with the TOS, I guess. Right now, it has to be proven. So I'll read. This was posted a day ago. This is from Alex Rains of Ultros.
I've heard some stuff about people who are like, see a portal, want to do it, go in. They have all the intentions of doing a good job and participating, but apparently you can miss the first 2 bosses or whatever. I didn't expect it to be like something that's going on and you go in. I expected it to be more like a BCNM, where they made it sound like you have to fulfill all of these things and then you can go in. I expected us to have to like farm up items and do a thing, and then the portal's there, and then my entire team can participate because they've all done these things. We hit the thing and go in, and we start at the beginning. Now I understand that's different. That's not purely open world, but it sounds like it's kind of a. I haven't done it yet, but it sounds like it's kind of a mess.
Yeah. So let me just read this and see if we can get a bead on what's going on here. It says, here's another example of how SE messed up by posing this as something that is different than it actually is. SE called this a quote-unquote public dungeon, but in practice, it frankly is not. By not allowing parties to queue for Baldesion Arsenal, SE has essentially made the toughest thing about this content organizing the damn thing. It's difficult enough to go in as a pre-made. Finding a raid group that is the same place as you, wants to go in the same time, can get in the same instance, and then potentially all get into BA without being sniped is frustrating and not fun, but it is effective and more likely to result in a good run of the content, even if it takes 2 to 3 hours just to get into it. Meanwhile, because the content has been pushed as a public dungeon, attempting to pug it is even more difficult if we take out the organized groups attempting to run the content in the same instance. Why? Because of the time limit. It's not super punishing as a pre-made, but imagine trying to organize it as a pug. You have 10 minutes maximum to get your party set up. During OVNI, to be set up in a coherent dungeon setup with 2 healers and at least 1 tank. Then you have to get everybody into a portal, the number of which increasingly gets lower as time goes on. Assuming everybody gets into it, they have 20 minutes to set up their Magio boards, logos actions, explain mechanics to new players in the pug. Split into 2 groups, beat their respective trash, and then mini boss before the extra half hour is added to their time. Is this possible? Absolutely, but so much less likely than doing it organized, and you'd have less time available for the remainder of the content if you did get it organized. Sure, you may get lucky and have a group or 2 that already has been in there, but again, it's a lot of hurdles to jump through simply to do the damn content. It's no wonder so much of the community is moving towards fully organized groups. That being said, SE either needs to allow groups to queue for Baldesion up to 6 to 7 parties together, or they need to reevaluate how to do the content, because no one's going to have a good time getting into content the way it is currently is, and it damn sure is not a public dungeon.
Well, and my idea, and again, I'm going to mention Final Fantasy XI again. A lot of stuff was open world, so in my mind, a public dungeon would be something where things respawn, right? So, and 14 or 11 handled a lot of these stuff with, you had to farm up enough pop items to spawn bosses, and you would claim the bosses once they spawned. But this sounds like it's like, if portals are up and I can get in, I can join, but I might miss the beginning. We could get to the end. I could join and not do much and get all the benefits. I don't know. It doesn't sound like the right way to do an open world dungeon. Even in 11, the open world dungeons, you fought your way through, but you still either had to do a BCNM at the end, or you had to fight the 4 gods to get to Kieran and pop it, and it was yours when you popped it. Mm-hmm. This isn't like that. This is that, and that's what I expected. This sounds like it's the thing happens. Anybody who can participate hits a portal and goes in, and and again, some of it's kind of like random pugs, but this person's right who wrote this up. They're like, so the NM spawns in the outside world, and you don't have that long to put together a party, get in there, not miss anything, and still be able to complete the content. I haven't done it yet though, so I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna try this week to get in there and see what happens in a pug and report back. But it sounds like there's a lot of weaknesses. But maybe it's okay. Well, maybe it's supposed to be the Wild West. I don't know.
Well, I feel like it's another one of SE's, hey, this looks good on paper, but in practice, it's not really working out. This guy has a positive take. I mean, obviously, he's not bitching about pugs going into it. He's more bitching about the organization when pugs jump into it, or pugging the content, and that it is geared more toward pre-made, but then you allow people to just go in and pug it, so then you have that added effect. I'm reading a comment a little further down, and it says, pre-made spend 4 hours trying to get into the same instance just to have randoms mess it up. Now, this is kind of an opposite take, looking at the randoms as a mess up. Continuing, normal players are afraid of missing out on this content, enter portals, and then are left to die by the pre-mades who would rather see them dead than help them clear. Nobody wins with this awful design. Everybody loses, and in a month from now, Eureka will be dead again, And because of the way it's designed, it will never again be touched. Unless you play in JP, in which case you probably already have an Ozma mount and didn't even click on this topic.
So are they saying, so basically, I think they can fix some of it by only letting you go into a portal with a party or something, or a party that matches, or I don't know. I don't think it needs to be instanced, but if everyone just queues in there solo, but I don't know. But again, that kind of goes against the public dungeon. The message above is like the design is at odds with itself, and I think they can. Fix
if
it.
there was maybe if there was a way that if you popped the portal and it said only a team of 8 may enter in there, click the portal when you're ready, but it's a pop item. I don't know how you would design these things, but I think it would be better suited for a full party to do so. And then that way you do a shout, you say, hey, party looking to do the pop, and then it pops you in. I don't know. I don't know how to create this thing. And again, I haven't been in I'm in Pagos, for Christ's sake. So I don't know shit about shit. I saw Louis for the first time yesterday. But as much as I'm in hearing, I try to keep my ear to the grapevine on this stuff. And I saw Mr. Happy do it. And of course, Mr. Happy has people who are like, let's get together and let's make a full pre-made. And these are like day 1, day 2 of this stuff. Of course, you're going to have good pre-mades when you're writing the guides and doing this stuff. And of course, people who are on top of the content, who are already at this level doing it, are like organizing stuff. But it's, how long are we into this? A week, 2 weeks now? If even. And so now you're already getting the pugs are messing me up. And see, this is where the nastiness sets in. I'm reading a little bit further, like the comment to this comment. It says, I've said somewhere else, pugs should team up and cooperate instead of trying to do the raid solo and dying sometimes away from the pre-made's healer's sight. And pre-made should allow some goodwill instead of gatekeeping, even if that means adjusting. But ultimately, when max 40% of the instance can get into the damn dungeon to start with, you're bound to get issues like that. So you've got some gatekeeping on one side that's like, you shouldn't come into this because you didn't come in with us, you're in the in-group, and people going, hey, this is free for everybody. I should be able to jump into this. But when you design it this way, nobody knows what the fuck is the right way to do it.
When you have to say and hit a checkbox and be like, I understand this is punishing content, I feel like it should be slightly more guarded who can get into your instance, maybe. I don't know. But what's the downside? So you go in, you wipe, and you have to level up again, but still, it's, I don't know, if you have...
Or you don't design it around bosses, and you don't design it, maybe you design it around some kind of farming for... I don't know, I'm looking back at an 11 type thing, where once you get into the public dungeon, maybe you have to set up a camp with your 8 people, and then farm for a pop item within the dungeon to pop a thing. And then those that are already inside that public dungeon area shout, hey, I've got the pop item for X. I'm at this location. If you want in on this, we're popping it in 5 minutes. Come over and be a part of this.
Yeah, let the players guide it, but lock it down enough that, hopefully random people can't go in and just like fuck people over. I don't know.
So I don't know. We have a lot of listeners. A lot of people listen to our podcast, and I would imagine that people who listen to our podcast, some have done this content. What do you think, Mr. or Mrs. Listener, would be the right way to design this? Do you think it should be something that you pop outside of the dungeon to get into it, something that you pop within the arsenal once you're in there and you have a group? Do you think it should be limited that only an 8-man party should even be able to go in at all? Do you think it should be instance content? What do you think? Let us know.
Yeah, I'm very interested in hearing what our listeners have to say, because I haven't been in there. I have just in the last day or so had the opportunity to go in there, but I chickened out. So I'm hoping before we record next. No, we have 2 weeks, so I'm hoping before we record next, I'll have some sort of like actual experience to discuss. But before that, I'd like to hear very much from our listeners who have tried this and seen it. I've heard everything from it's a total fucking shit show to God, it was really fun and I cleared it. But I can join 2 different Serio parties in the same day and have the same feedback.
Sure.
So I don't know. I don't want to be limited to only play with people I know, right? I don't feel like this should be savage content where I don't even want to go into it without a full static or set. But at the same time, I don't want like just random people joining who might be trolling, who might not be pulling their own weight. But I mean, I'll get banned for saying they're not pulling their own weight, so whatever. Let's move on. Let's move on to happy hour. We have some listener email. Denim Wall, this is our old Bill Mardigan. Thank you for emailing us. And he asks, is Triple Triad the real true endgame?
Perhaps.
Maybe.
I would also care to say that maybe fishing is the true
Fishing.
end game.
Ruby, I actually noticed that I don't have all the fishing achievements. I don't have all the gathering achievements, but there's a lot of fish I don't have. I may have to take a couple days and knock that out. But yeah.
Good luck.
There's
I
a
think
lot of
I
fish.
think our friend Summoner Shuri spent quite a few mil trying to get his last fish on his list.
Painful. But thanks, Bill. Yeah, Triple Triad's a fun game. I like that you can get card drops from dungeons and bosses and stuff. I like that you can buy some. I keep coming back to, I will not spend MGP on those packs. I won't, because I'm going to get fucked. I would rather have the gold saucer cactar mount than spend money on Triple Triad cards.
Don't get me back on this, how the packs are worthless at this point, especially the platinum ones that give you like a point negative chance of getting anything out of them. It's just a ridiculous waste of time. And if Yoshida, you have to update the goods that come out of this. You've got to update the prizes, or you've got to make another tier of Final Fantasy cards out of it and drop the difficulty for the old ones. Give us a reason to go back into it and do more with it.
I honestly don't feel like those packs match the theory of the rest of the game. The rest of the game is, once something's old, we nerf it and make it easier to get. And then we introduce new stuff on top of it. And Triple Triad doesn't seem to do that. So, but yeah, no, I do get excited. I don't even play that much Triple Triad, but when I get a card drops to me that I don't have, I'm like squeeing, and I don't even really play. So, so maybe. All right, we have a tweet from that Scottish bastard. Though some sterling detective work, I have in fact discovered from leaked footage of a male Viera in-game engaging in PvP against what appears to be a group of paladins. This one made me giggle, guys, because I have boobs and I'm a Monty Python fan, which is apparently rare. But he's just the clip with the rabbit with gnashy teeth from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Jesus. Man.
Oh my God, I laugh every time I see this.
I still have I found this on a drive, I think 2 days ago. I have an old Penny Arcade comic from 2011, I think, and it had it's a Final Fantasy 11 one. It may be older than that. It must be older than that. That is they're hunting in Lethene, and there's a rabbit, and one of them says, "Oh, I'm gonna go kill that bunny," and they were like, "No, don't." And of course, it's the bunny that kills you when you're out there. Like, most of the bunnies are harmless, but then there's one notorious monster. I don't remember what it's called. Jumping Jagger. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Something like that. And that one will just destroy you if you don't know what you're doing. And he's yelling out, "This is the destroyer of worlds." Yeah. So maybe that's what we're getting for Mel Viera. Just a
little bunny that will eat your face. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that tweet. Enjoyable. Whew, I guess it's closing time. This got longer than I thought it would. I don't know what we did.
Yeah, I shot the shit for a really long time, I think is what happened. It's okay.
All right. Okay, closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. And if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXAV. Email us at gtffxav@gmail.com. Please leave us a rating wherever you listen to us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at YeltaSumasu, YeltaSumasu. As always, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.